Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the second edition of the Qatar Mediation Forum. Before we begin, a quick note for all participants. As the forum includes both Arabic and English speakers, kindly make sure to use the headset for simultaneous translation, and CHS staff are around to assist you if you need any help. It is a privilege to gather once again here in Doha after the success of last year's inaugural forum to reaffirm a shared commitment to dialogue, diplomacy, and the pursuit of peaceful settlements. Each of you brings long experience in mediation and conflict analysis, and this forum builds on that collective knowledge. The Center for Conflict and Humanitarian Studies established this forum to create a space where mediation can be examined with clarity and honesty. It is designed as a place where practitioners and scholars can reflect on the conditions that shape mediation today, consider the constraints that negotiators and mediators face in real settings, and think together about how practice can evolve. The aim is not only to exchange perspectives, but also to deepen the analytical foundations of mediation as political work carried out under pressure, uncertainty, and often in rapidly shifting environments. Over the next 2 days, the forum will guide us through a rich program of panels and focused roundtables. Today, we will look at how global and regional dynamics are reshaping the possibilities for mediation, and how mediators navigate the risks and challenges that accompany great power competition. In addition, this afternoon at 3:30, we will have the formal announcement of the Humanitarian Diplomacy Initiative, which will be launched by Her Excellency Dr. Maryam bint Nasser Al-Misnad. This broad scope reflects the mission of the forum, which is to contribute to strengthening Qatar's mediation strategy and to support the country's growing role in conflict mediation across the Arab and the Islamic world. To officially open our program, it is my privilege to invite Dr. Ghassan Elkahlout, Director of the Center for Conflict and Humanitarian Studies, to deliver the welcome remarks. Dr. Ghassan, the floor is yours.
Good morning. Excellencies, distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends. It's an honor and a pleasure to welcome you all to the second edition of the Qatar Mediation Forum. I would like to extend particular thanks to Her Excellency Dr. Maryam bint Nasser Al-Misnad, State Minister of International Cooperation, and the head of the Advisory Board of Center for Conflict and Humanitarian Studies, whose presence reflects the commitment to the valuable work we undertake together over the next 2 days. We gather at a difficult moment. The world is more violent than it has been in decades, yet the tools we have relied upon to end wars are struggling to keep pace. Comprehensive peace agreement, the kind that once marked turning point in places like Colombia and the Philippines, have become rare. In their place, we see ceasefire that hold for days or weeks, partial deals that manage violence without resolving it, and negotiations that drag on while civilians continue to pay the price. This is not because mediation has lost its value. When it works, nothing else achieves what it can. Bringing enemies to the same table, creating a space for compromise, ending conflicts without waiting for one side to diminish the other. The problem is that the conditions which once allowed mediation to succeed are eroding. The post-Cold War settlement that underpinned multilateral cooperation has fractured. Great power competition now shapes how conflicts are fueled and how they might end. International institutions designed for a different era find themselves sidelined or contested. Meanwhile, funding for peace building has declined sharply as Western governments redirect resources towards defense. The infrastructure that supported sustained diplomatic engagement is being hollowed out precisely when we need it most. And the norms that once protected, the process itself are breaking down. Hospitals, aid convoys, journalists, these were supposed to be off limits. Increasingly, they are not. Most troubling of all, mediators themselves have become targets. On 9th of September, the Hamas negotiation team here in Doha was struck as they gathered to discuss ceasefire terms. If those working to end violence can be attacked at the table, what does that mean for the future of any peace processes? These are the conditions we must confront honestly. The question is not whether the old model is under strain. It clearly is. The question is what comes next. Part of the answer is already emerging. Mediation is no longer centered in Western diplomatic capitals. The Gulf states, Turkey, Brazil, China, and others have stepped into roles that would have been unimaginable a generation ago. Qatar has mediated across an extraordinary range of conflict: Gaza, Lebanon, Afghanistan, Chad, Venezuela, Somalia, Colombia. The shift is not merely geographical. It reflects a different understanding of what gives a mediator credibility: proximity, relationship, economic partnership, and willingness to engage with parties that others will not speak to. Yet now, new actors face old constraints. Regional mediators are taken on a greater responsibility, but often without the resources or international backing to see processes through. Economic incentives are playing a larger role in deal making, but it remains unclear whether investment-led diplomacy produces durable peace or simply profitable poses. We will examine in the next 2 days these tensions. We will ask hard questions. Can international organizations build genuine partnership with regional and local actors? Can the negotiation process itself be protected? Can emerging approaches deliver lasting settlement or only temporary arrangement? I want to close with what I believe is the central point. We can see the Qatari experience reminds us that mediation today is not a quiet, neutral backstage function. It is a choice to stand in difficult spaces, handle pressure, and insist that even amid violence, there must remain a way back to political solutions. After the attack on 9th of September, Qatar did not withdraw. It persisted that choice deserved recognition. Qatar philosophy here is not new. It draws from an old will, the Arab tradition of sulh, which seek not merely a signed agreement, but a genuine reconciliation. It is built on the principle of the Majlis, a space for open yet confidential dialogue defined by discretion, relationship building, and engaging with reality as it's on the ground. I conclude by thanking you for being here, for bringing your experience and wisdom, and I look forward to the conversation ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ghassan. It is now my honor to welcome Her Excellency Dr. Maryam bint Ali bin Nasser Al-Misnad, Minister of State for International Cooperation at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the head of the Advisory Board of the Center for Conflict and Humanitarian Studies, to deliver the keynote address. Your Excellency, please.
Good morning, everyone. I'll be delivering my remarks in Arabic. أصحاب السعادة، السيدات والسادة، أرحب بكم جميعاً في النسخة الثانية من منتدى قطر للوساطة الذي ينظمه مركز دراسات النزاع والعمل الإنساني بوصفه منبراً أكاديمياً رائداً في تطوير المعرفة والممارسة في مجال الوساطة وصنع السلام. إن حضوركم اليوم.
Your presence today reflects a shared recognition that our world is going through a critical moment, one marked by multiple conflict hotspots, increasing fragility in societies, and growing pressures on the principles of international law and humanitarian values, which requires responsible action. With polarization on the rise and trust declining in the mechanisms of the international system, mediation becomes an essential pillar for preserving political solutions, protecting civilian lives, and reducing humanitarian suffering. Over the past decades, mediation tools have been built on a framework of relative international consensus. Yet today's reality presents unprecedented challenges. International decision-making is often constrained by political deadlock, while humanitarian principles retreat before the logic of force and interest. In such an environment, mediation cannot be temporary or seasonal. It must be a continuous responsibility and a compass guiding political engagement toward fair and sustainable solutions. For the state of Qatar, this environment was not a reason for retreat, but a motivation to reinforce a clear approach grounded in respect for international law, genuine dialogue, commitment to civilian protection, and the pursuit of negotiation pathways even in the darkest moments of stalemate. This approach is not driven by the search for status or symbolic roles, but by the pursuit of tangible results, de-escalation, humanitarian access, the management of detainee files, and paving the way for political settlements that uphold rights and preserve dignity. Practical experience affirms that mediation derives its strength not from prepackaged models, but from a deep understanding of local contexts, historical memory, and urgent humanitarian needs. It also confirms that political solutions cannot be written behind closed doors, isolated from affected communities, including local institutions and the voices closest to the realities of conflict is a core element that enhances credibility and ensures sustainability. In recent years, the world has witnessed a growing intersection between mediation and humanitarian work, negotiating safe passages, enabling relief delivery, organizing humanitarian pauses, and securing evacuations have become central components of any responsible diplomatic effort. Integrating humanitarian considerations from the outset protects the value of life and establishes a negotiation environment that recognizes that protecting people is not a concession, but a standard of political and ethical legitimacy. This truth was evident in Qatar's recent mediation efforts in Gaza. Qatar faced pressures aimed at undermining the impartiality of its mediation and questioning the value of channels that eased suffering, enabled the delivery of aid and advanced negotiations. Yet Qatar remained steadfast because the practical outcomes of mediation and the lives saved as a result of that dialogue demonstrated that it can make a difference even in the most challenging contexts. Mediation is not a substitute for politics, nor a guaranteed prescription to end all conflicts. It is a central tool to reduce harm, give space for political solutions, prevent humanitarian collapse, and protect the memory, rights, and identity of peoples. Every official who sits at a negotiation table knows that decisions are not merely technical or procedural. They directly affect human lives, waiting for the international community to safeguard their humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, this forum in its second edition reflects our collective determination to benefit from accumulated expertise, develop new knowledge and tools, and strengthen cooperation among political actors, researchers, international institutions, and humanitarian organizations. The Center for Conflict and Humanitarian Studies continues its role as a hub of expertise and scholarship, supporting capacity building and fostering advanced discussions that elevate the quality of mediation practice. I look forward to this gathering being a space for candid dialogue, thoughtful study of current challenges, and productive discussion of the ethical and institutional frameworks that make mediation more effective and equitable. I am confident that the ideas emerging from this forum will contribute to a shared global understanding of the role of mediators and the potential of political solutions in a world inclining more toward escalation than settlement. Qatar will remain supportive of every effort that protects civilians, reinforces respect for international law, and prepares the ground for fair and lasting political solutions that restore human dignity and the right to safety. On behalf of the State of Qatar, I welcome you all and I wish this forum every success.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for that insightful keynote. A few logistical notes before we proceed. The screen now displays the forum's official hashtags, or they should. Yes, those are the hashtags. Feel free to use them when sharing any insight from today and for tomorrow. And you may also scan the barcode to access the full booklet, which includes the agenda, speaker biographies, and all relevant forum materials. Also, some of you may be invited for media interviews during the forum. Our media colleagues are stationed just outside the hall, and interviews will be conducted by myself and my colleague Karim. The CHS team is available throughout the venue to support you with any guidance or assistance you may need. I will also be providing reminders and updates throughout the day to help us stay on schedule and move smoothly between sessions. Now we move to our first panel of the day, Peace, Mediation, and a Transforming Order. This session brings together voices who have been at the forefront of conflict analysis, peace building, and mediation practice. Moderating this panel is Dr. Muhammad Hamas Al-Masri. Dr. Muhammad is a professor in the Media Studies program at the Doha Institute for Graduate Studies. He earned his PhD in mass communication from the University of Iowa, where he was a presidential fellow. His research focuses on Arab media systems, news coverage of race, and the media and terrorism. He has published widely in respected journals.